Welcome to Football with Cheez. Happy NFL playoff eve, I guess. It starts tomorrow, and I'm not going to preview every game, but I had to preview Bears Packers. I've done lots of videos about both teams of late. For some reason, they're playing 3 times in 6 weeks, which is crazy. That hardly ever happens. They need to do something about the scheduling. But anyway, if you're new to the channel, make sure you are subscribed, hit the bell for notification so you never miss one of my videos. I did the notes on Wednesday night for this, and I realized this could be a 30-minute video, but I cut a lot out. We'll see how long it takes, but there's just so much going on with this game. There are factors no one is talking about, and I will go over them in the video. So who is the pressure on for both teams? To me, it's on Caleb Williams and Matt LaFleur. More on Matt LaFleur later. Let's talk about Caleb Williams. So, the Packers defense is not in a good place. A couple weeks ago, they got torched by the Ravens on the ground. Absolutely dominated. Their starting defensive tackles right now are Colby Wooden and Carl Brooks. Those are 2 day 3 selections. Devontae Wyatt, their best defensive tackle, is out for the season. And it wasn't a great group with him. So because of that, the Bears should be able to move the ball. Should be able to run the ball. Roma Dunze's back. They didn't have him last time. Caleb Williams has his full arsenal back, but there's a lot of pressure on him. First playoff game. It's always tough. A lot of quarterbacks, it takes a few games before they win one. Justin Herbert still hasn't won one. And that's a team stat. So if Caleb Williams does lose, there'll probably be pressure on him next year to win if they make the playoffs again. But it is a team game, so you got to remember that. Now, Micah Parsons is out for the year. Obviously, he's one of the best defensive players in the game. He's the only good pass rusher on the Packers. But the Bears only had 3 points after 3 quarters in Soldier Field a few weeks back. That's not good enough. Caleb Williams did not really play well in the first 3 quarters. Played much better later on. But they also got lucky in that game because Jordan Love got hurt. Packers gave the game away. There's so many reasons why. Terrible special teams, terrible everything in the fourth quarter and overtime. But no more excuses for Caleb Williams. You cannot have 3 points in 3 quarters with no Devontae Wyatt, no Micah Parsons. If they do it again, they're not going to win this game. Okay, let's talk about the game plan. Head coach Ben Johnson should do something similar to what he did against the Eagles on that Black Friday game. Get ahead, run the ball, wear down the defense. That's what Baltimore did to Green Bay. Scored 41 points. That's what I expect the Bears to do. But to do that, you have to get ahead. You can't just decide to do that. Because if you get down 17-0 halfway through the second quarter, you can't do that. Because what that style does is limit possessions and wear down the other defense. And if you're down 17-0, you need a lot more possessions. Typically, an NFL game has 12 possessions. And if you're the Bears, you want 8 or 9 if you get ahead and run the ball, control the clock, protect your defense, which isn't very good, keep them off the field. But like I said, you can't do that game plan if you get down even 10-0 after 1 quarter. You have to throw it out the window. And as far as the Packers defense goes, I'm not sure if Jeff Hafley, the defensive coordinator, is going to blitz a lot. He rarely blitzed when he had Micah Parsons, because why would you? Because you get pass rush with your front four if you have Micah Parsons on just about every play. The problem with blitzing is the Packers just don't have the corners that can cover a man. So if you blitz a ton, that really exposes the secondary. And like I said, the Bears have a lot of weapons. They're full arsenal. Roma Dunze's back, Luther Burden, DJ Moore, Colston Loveland. So I don't think he's going to blitz much, despite the fact that they're not going to get much pressure unless they do blitz. It'll be interesting to see what Hafley does because he's up for 3 or 4 head coaching jobs. He's got some interviews lined up. So if he calls a great game, this could really help him. So I'm not sure what exactly he will do. He's been terrific the last 2 years as the defensive coordinator. Now let's talk about the other side of the ball. So Dennis Allen's defensive coordinator of the Bears, and he blitzed Jordan Love a lot in that Week 14 matchup. It did not go well for the Bears defense. Love was 9 for 12, 171 yards and 3 touchdowns in that game against the blitz. And just like I said about the Packers' pass rush is not very good without Micah Parsons, the Bears' pass rush is also not very good. So Dennis Allen and Jeff Hafley both have to decide, do we try to put pressure on the quarterback, try to blitz, maybe force some interceptions, or do we sit back in zone and hope we can get pressure with our front four? I don't think you can blitz Love. He's been so good in the second half of the year against the blitz, throwing off his back foot and still being accurate. And it torched the Bears last time. Every time Love saw a blitz coming, he would check off to Christian Watson, who's great at beating man. And they got 2 long plays. One went for a touchdown with Christian Watson when the Bears blitzed. So I don't think either team can really afford to do it. But also, I don't know if either team can afford not to blitz, because you've got to get pressure on these quarterbacks. So it's pretty much a catch-22 for both defensive coordinators at this point. Also, Josh Jacobs is finally healthy. He has not been healthy since week 11. He's finally off the injury report, especially if it's a snow game. We'll talk about that in a second. But weather could be a factor. So the game plan for the Packers could be run the ball. Both teams should have that game plan. Run the ball, then set up play action, get ahead. Both teams should have that game plan. But Josh Jacobs has given the Bears a lot of trouble in the past, so he could go off. And Zach Tom, we got to talk about him. He did not practice yesterday. Matt LaFleur called it a rest day. It is a little concerning, but he is expected to play. If you don't know who Zach Tom is, he is the right tackle for the Green Bay Packers. And he is by far their best offensive lineman. Definitely their best run blocking offensive lineman. He's a very good run blocking right tackle. He's a very good pass blocker. Is he elite at both? No. But he's very good overall. And when he has not played in his career, he's in his 4th season. I looked this up. They have won 1 time in 7 games. So if you don't have him, you're not replacing him with your second best offensive lineman. You're replacing him with a bench guy. And it really hasn't been a great offensive line this year anyway. So hopefully he plays for the Packers. The Bears, they have the better head coach. I think it's pretty obvious. If you watch all my videos, I think Matt LaFleur is a terrible coach. And I think Ben Johnson, for the most part, is a good coach. I did make a video a few days ago. I'll link it in the box at the end. Make sure you check it out, about how Ben Johnson just takes some shots at LaFleur and really shouldn't. You don't want to give the other team bulletin board material. You don't want to start a coaching rivalry. Yes, there's already a big rivalry with the Packers Bears. You don't need to add to it by making a coaching rivalry. So make sure you check that out at the end. And if you want more of my insight on Matt LaFleur, just search my channel, Why Matt LaFleur Sucks. I made a whole video a few weeks back about all the problems I had with him. And one of my subscribers pointed something out I didn't mention, that Matt LaFleur is not playing Matthew Golden, their first-round pick wide receiver. Why would you use a first-round pick on a wide receiver and not play him? Makes no sense. There was even a game where Dontavian Wicks was out. There were some injuries to the receiving core. And Matt LaFleur's playing Bo Melton more than Matthew Golden, more snaps, which is insane. Bo Melton had to switch to cornerback just to make the team, because he wasn't going to make the team as a wide receiver. So you have a cornerback playing wide receiver over your first-round pick who's so talented, and just having Matthew Golden on the field, the defense has to know where he is because he's so explosive. He's so dynamic. He was incredible down the stretch for Texas last year. He ran a sub-4 340. So you have to know where he is. And before Jaden Reed and Christian Watson came back, he was playing more, and he made some big plays in some games. Not a great run blocker. That's a big deal in a Matt LaFleur offense. But still, on 3rd down and long, when you know you're not running, he should be on the field every single time. And anyone saying Matthew Golden is a first-round bust, he's not very good, that's why LaFleur's not playing him, not so much. If you look at analytics, he has been the 4th most efficient rookie on a per-play basis, okay? So obviously, Emeka Egbuka, Teddy McMillan aren't going to be first on this list because they play so many snaps, especially Egbuka, because now Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are healthy and playing as well, so he's not going to be quite as efficient with those other guys out there. But Golden's 4th in the entire NFL among rookies in efficiency. Luther Burden, by the way, for the Bears is number 1. Both those receivers should have played a lot more this year. But anyway, X factors. Okay. I have 4. Colson Loveland, obviously. First-round pick, rookie tight end. He just seems to get better as the season going on. Better blocker than I give him credit for. That was a big knock on him going in the draft. He's not a great blocker. But he's a better blocker than people think. And he's just so athletic. He's a threat down the field. Green Bay has struggled against the tight end at times this year. Really struggled against Trey McBride when they played the Cardinals. My Packer X Factor is Trayvon Diggs, cornerback that was just released by the Cowboys. Played some snaps against the Vikings, not a lot. Looked pretty good. But at the cornerback position, Green Bay just doesn't have playmakers. They don't intercept the ball much. But Diggs can do that. He takes a lot of chances. He gives up big plays, but he also makes plays. Look for him to try to bait Caleb Williams and jump a route for an interception, maybe get a pick six, because I think he is going to play a lot. So he could be an X factor for the Bears or Packers. He could intercept Caleb Williams. He could also give up a long touchdown to DJ Moore, someone like that. So we'll see. Another X factor, special teams. The Packers have some of the worst special teams in the NFL. And it's crazy because they have a great punter. They have a great kicker. But everything else about the special teams is garbage. It cost them the game against the Bears a few weeks back because they couldn't even recover an onside kick. Thanks a lot, Romeo Doubs. I didn't even bring him up. I just can't wait for him to be gone. But special teams is a factor. The Bears are better at it. And turnovers. Bears are one of the best teams in the league at forcing turnovers. And the Packers are one of the worst. Now, turnovers are not consistent. You can't just say that, well, the Bears will win the game because they're going to force turnovers and the Packers won't. Throw that out the window in the postseason. Like I said, turnovers are not consistent. So that is the biggest reason to me why the Bears are the 2 seed and Packers are 7. If the Packers were better at forcing turnovers, they probably would be the 2 seed. Bears may be the 7. But they weren't. And the Bears won a lot of close games because they forced turnovers. And if that continues, the Bears are going to win this game. But the Packers don't turn the ball over much either. So obviously, if one team has 3 turnovers, the other has 0, we know who's going to win the game. So that could be X factor as well. And I mentioned the weather. We could have some snow. And if the visibility's bad, if the passing game is affected by the weather, then the running game will be so important. And the Packers probably had the better running back in the game, but the Bears had the better run blocking offensive line. So we'll see what happens there. Okay. Because I make so many Packer Bears videos, my X feed shows up a lot of Packer writers, but a lot of Bears as well. A lot of Bears media, radio hosts, and a ton of them, most from what I've seen, think the Bears are going to win easy. They're all predicting the Bears should win this easy, no problem. No Micah Parsons. We're at home. And I just think that's incredibly naive. I know you want the Bears to win, but the Packers have outplayed the Bears for probably 6, maybe 7 of the 9 quarters that they've played this year. Not saying that, no, I think the Packers should win by a ton. I'm not saying that, but I just think it's a little naive to think that the Bears are, we should win easy. We got Roma Dunze back, no Micah Parsons. I think it's going to be a really close game. And I looked at Packers media as well, radio hosts, writers, and a lot of them think, majority of them, it's going to be a close game, just like I do. Maybe just because it's Packers-Bears and they won the division, they think, oh yeah, we're going to win easily. We're beating the Packers. I don't know. Just kind of weird. On the other side, Dan Orlovsky, I love Dan Orlovsky. He's the only one at ESPN worth watching. But he had an interesting take. He thinks the Packers are going to win comfortably. That's the word he used, comfortably. I think that's naive as well. I could see both teams winning comfortably if the other team just plays like shit. But I don't think the Packers are going to win comfortably. Even if they get ahead by 2 scores, which they always seem to do against the Bears, Matt LaFleur is going to just coast, take it easy, and let the Bears back in the game. So both games were so close this year. So I just don't see it being comfortably either way. But I love Dan Orlovsky. He's the only one that gives Jordan Love any credit. Jordan Love's analytics look amazing this year. He's a top 10 quarterback, and he needs to get out of ESPN, work for a better network. Or let's change the name for ESPN. We're going to change the name. It's now called Point Everything Jordan Love Does Wrong and Nothing He Does Right Network. That's the new name because that's all they do. Rex Ryan, Ryan Clark, Jeff Saturday, complete idiots. They're only on there because they used to play or coach, but they're morons. But I appreciate Dano, and I respect him. Maybe he thinks that with Josh Jacobs healthy and Jordan Love, they can put up a lot of points, maybe score 35, 38, but they didn't in the first 2 games. So we'll see what happens. It should be a high-scoring game, weather permitting. Final thoughts. Now, why it's so important for both franchises to win this game. Obviously, it's the biggest rivalry for both teams. This might be the biggest rivalry in the NFL. It wasn't for a long time, but now they're both good. So it's back. And the Bears, perspective, they have not won a playoff game in 15 years. That's a long time. So a lot on the line for the Bears, and they finally had a good offseason. Every year it seems like the Bears win the offseason by the media, and turns out they didn't. But this year, they probably had the best offseason of anyone, maybe the Patriots as well. So I admit that. Yes, the Bears had an incredible offseason. They had really good free agency, really good draft, made some good trades. For the Packers, they had Super Bowl expectations after trading for Micah Parsons. I was not going to pick him to win the Super Bowl before the trade of Micah Parsons. No way. But after, I did pick him because that's one thing they were missing, a playmaker on defense. And after the first 2 weeks, it looked like they were the best team in the NFL. And when you give up 2 first-round picks and a good player, you're going for it. You're all in. It's Super Bowl or bust. Now, even with Micah, they lost or tied some games they should have won going away. And that is a huge problem. That's another reason why they're not in first place in the division, besides not forcing enough turnovers. So Matt LaFleur could and should be fired if he loses this game. He has blown so many games with his terrible play calling, with his late game decision making, just refusing to fire the special teams coordinator. I could list so many. Once again, make sure you search my channel for why Matt LaFleur sucks. But they've lost so many games this year because of Matt LaFleur. And because of that, they're the 7th seed. 3rd straight year, even with Micah Parsons playing most of the year. So if he loses this game, he has to be fired. I would fire General Manager Brian Gutekunst as well. Just, they need a reset. Because he has been terrible, Goody, as he's called by Packer fans, at picking in the first round since he drafted Love in 2020. You want me to go through the picks? It's terrible. Real quick. In 2021, he took Eric Stokes, cornerback Georgia. Everyone had him as probably a mid-second round pick. In 2022, Quay Walker and Devontae White. Quay Walker has been terrible, despite what the media tells you. Devontae White's been a good player, but has he lived up to a first-round pick? Probably not, but he's hurt. Lucas Van Ness in 2023 with Jackson Smith-Njigba on the board, and everyone expected them to take him. Absolutely horrible. Jordan Morgan in 2024, he sucks. Matthew Golden, Matt LaFleur won't play him. You should hit on your first and second round picks. Those are the easy ones, the layups. If I have a general manager that misses on 4th, 5th, 6th round picks, as long as you hit on 1st, 2nd, 3rd, you're keeping your job. I'm an owner. That's fine. But you cannot keep missing on your first round pick. That's where you get your left tackles. That's where you get your playmakers, your really good wide receivers, your edge rushers, your defensive tackles, your elite shutdown corners. And he keeps missing on those. So to me, if they lose this game, it's time for a reset. New GM, new coach. That's what I think they should do. Okay. Prediction time. Now, Mike from the Lights Out podcast, we do every Tuesday night. I'll link in the description. It's 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. We talk baseball, college football, and of course NFL. He asked me a really tough question this week. Would you want the Packers to lose if it meant Matt LaFleur getting fired? And I hate to say it, but no. You have to beat the Bears. Even if LaFleur sticks around for another year, I do not want to lose this game. You can't lose to the Bears. Just like Bears, you can't lose to the Packers. But you have to win Packers-Bears playoff games. You have to. But if they do lose, absolutely he should be fired. Packers by 1.5. So basically that's a coin flip. Any spread under 3 is basically a coin flip. And that's what I think it is. I think it's a coin flip. I think it go either way. I think if the Bears get ahead by 2 scores early, the Packers will lose. I think if the Packers get ahead by 2 scores early, they'll probably hold on, but they might blow it. But I'm going to take the Packers. I'm going to say it's 24-24 late. Jordan Love leads a game-winning drive. Brandon McManus hits a field goal to win 27-24. If you have not subscribed, make sure you do so now. Enable alerts so you never miss one of my videos. If you enjoyed it, give me that thumbs up. Really helps out the channel. Share this with anyone who loves football as we continue to grow football with Cheez. I'm almost at 500 subscribers. Hopefully we can get there today or tomorrow. Once again, link for the podcast is in the description. Every Tuesday night, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. We're going to do a special awards, NFL awards show on Monday at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. So same link in the description. Make sure you check that out. If you have not, once again, check out this video about Ben Johnson, and I'll see you in the next one.